I woke up in Lisbon, Portugal on Thanksgiving morning, rolled over, grabbed my phone, opened Twitter, I know, and saw this. Now, Donald Trump has done this sort of thing before. There was this on Memorial Day 2015. And this on New Year's Day 2019. And even this later deleted tweet from September 2013. So, yeah, given his history of commemorating holidays, I guess I shouldn't have been surprised by his Thanksgiving message. And yet. Maybe it was because I was abroad, looking at the US from 3,500 miles away. Maybe it was because it was early in the morning in Lisbon. Maybe it was because I was still a little bit jet lagged. But regardless of my reason, the first thought I had was this. This is the guy who is currently the leader to be the next president of the United States? Really? And yes, by the way, Trump is a slight favorite over Joe Biden right now. I mean, aside from the overall WTF-ness of the entire message, and that he would think it's okay to send this out on Thanksgiving, I have a few additional thoughts. Thought one. Trump sent this out at 2:03 a.m. Now, we know that Trump is not big on sleep. He's just one of those people, I think, that just does not require a lot of sleep. Then White House physician Ronnie Jackson said about Trump in 2018 after an annual physical. And Trump himself has acknowledged his lack of need for sleep, saying, I'm not a big sleeper. I like 3 hours, 4 hours. I toss, I turn, I beep to beep. I want to find out what's going on. Presumably, this latest post on Truth Social was part of that beep to beep. Kidding aside, do you really want your president to A, be awake at 2 a.m., or B, be posting to social media at that time? This sort of thing can be written off as mostly harmless when Trump is a private citizen. But as president, am I alone in worrying that a tendency toward very late night posting is not a recipe for future success? Thought two. This post is literally unintelligible to the average person. Aside from Trump's ever-confusing use of punctuation and capitalization, his Thanksgiving message reveals a man way down a rabbit hole. I mean, maybe people know who New York Attorney General Letitia James is, but there is no chance that the average person knows Judge Arthur Engoron, much less his court clerk, who Trump name checks in the post. Now, this post is not unusual for Trump. In his campaign speeches, he regularly goes deep into the minutia of his own legal problems, assuming, I think wrongly, that his audience has any idea what he's talking about. Unless you're reading everything written about the various legal machinations surrounding Trump, and I can't imagine that is a lot of people, the majority of this Trump Truth Social post makes no sense to you. Thought three, the language. I continue to believe that the apocalyptic terms in which Trump talks about the country and the debasing way he speaks about his opponents drastically raises the temperature in the country and bodes nothing good for 2024. To that end, this line very much stood out to me. Crooked Joe Biden, who has weaponized his Department of Injustice against his political opponent and allowed our country to go to hell, and all of the other radical left lunatics, communists, fascists, Marxists, Democrats, and rhinos who are seriously looking to destroy our country. Hell, fascists, Marxists, Democrats, rhinos, destroy our country. Look, this stuff has an impact. It suggests that the stakes of 2024 aren't just about an election, that it's about whether the country survives or not. To be clear, Trump doesn't actually believe any of this. He just knows it works as a piece of political rhetoric. But you know who does believe it? The people who ardently follow him. Need proof? How about January 6, 2021? Yeah. As best as I can tell, Trump's Thanksgiving Truth Social post drew at most a smallish amount of press attention. People wrote about it, but it wasn't anything more than a single day story over a holiday, which I get. As I've said many times, Trump says and does so many out there things that it becomes hard to cover them all. If everything is a mountain, are there no molehills left, right? Brian Klaas, an associate professor of global politics at the University of College London, put it well in an October Substack post. I want to read to you from it. Here's what he wrote. My view is this. If someone wants to vote for a cruel, sociopathic authoritarian, they should do so without being able to pretend they don't know what they're supporting. There should be a social stigma for voting for Trump, because what he stands for is so far outside the bounds of acceptable democratic politics anywhere else in the world. But that can't work unless everyone is aware of Trump's increasingly violent, deranged insanity. Instead, the press has succumbed to the numbing effect of the banality of crazy, once reporting on every single Trump tweet in early 2017 because it was unusual, but now ignoring even the most dangerous policy proposals by an authoritarian who is on the cusp of once again becoming the most powerful man in the world, precisely because it happens like clockwork almost every day. So what? Trump's Thanksgiving post is something that merited more attention from the mainstream media than it got. What kind of person thinks this stuff, much less says it publicly? And what does it say about us as a country that this man is the betting favorite, at least as of today, to be the next president of the United States? I'll answer that question. It says nothing good, and actually something pretty scary.